Is there a species that can wipe out humanity? Yes, there is. Is there a species that can wipe out humanity? If we do not learn, if humans do not learn how to get along like a species, we might get our wig split by other creatures. Humans are on the top of the food chain, meaning humans bully all other weaker creatures for food. We eat weaker creatures. We're at the top of the food chain. That's the only thing that makes us at the top of the food chain. Now, the world does not need us to be at the top of the food chain. We could be second of the food chain. We do not need to be at the top of the food chain for the earth to live. This is something that neurobiologists, people that study human behavior, animal behavior, they don't spend a lot of time talking about. I had this thought when I was living in my damn house, and I realized, damn, you know what? There's some creatures that can actually kill me very easily if they had the information, if they had the self-awareness. They could totally take out us humans very easily, because us humans can be killed and paralyzed very easily, yet there's terror in animals. But once those animals loses that terror and goes after humans, those creatures, well, not creatures, insects, animals, I don't know what you call it as a collective whole, but we say creatures, even though there were creatures indicates that it was created by God. But a lot of people don't realize that us humans, if we do not work as a species, if we don't start thinking and acting like a species, this can threaten the future of humanity if we do not come together and start acting like a species, meaning that every single human life matters, and that includes black lives. But this is not a political video. This has nothing to do with politics. This is more about human behavior and animal behavior, and about species, about the better thing for the species. Us humans are so divided. We are divided by thought, by race, by belief, but we should only be divided by species, and that means we are human. All of us are human. We can be threatened. There's a lot of things that threaten humans as the number one species on the earth. Now, we like being number one. We like eating animals. We like eating basically that's what makes us a good species. We like to create habitats for ourselves. Sorry about that shit. Let me get this crap. I'm gonna try to edit this shit. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, so what I'm saying is humans are a threat to humans. And that should not be so. Even if you feel like you are a white or a black person or Latino, Asian, you should not be racist. You should not divide yourself from your own human species, and you should not even think that a human that is different from you is different from you as a species. We're all human species. And there is, in actuality, there is nothing. This topic is, I've never heard this fucking topic before. And I've been watching a lot of videos on neuroscience and human behavior studies, and there's these brilliant lectures and all that crap on human behavior and understanding and all that shit, but there's no practical advice for human behavior. There's just a bunch of rhetoric, or a bunch of knowledge of what we know about human behavior and how similar we are to animals and how we're no different than this and that. But this practical knowledge and years of studies, it doesn't really benefit us that much, because how do you put that knowledge into practice in a world where you have to make money, right? And sometimes knowing things is good and fun and entertaining, but that's where it ends. It ends at entertainment and amusement. It's not practical. You cannot take it to the bank. You can't use it to win the lottery or to make $1 million unless you know other knowledges to make you money, because one of the most important things in the world is making money. But neurobiologists don't really spend that much time on that, even in human behavior, they do not invest any time in how to make money. The biggest thing that humanity needs to know right now is, how do I make money? How does everybody make money? How do we all have what we need in an endless supply? I've always had this thing where I wanted to write a book on the free age. The age where everything is automated, but every automated machine has a social security number, and that social security number is tied to a human being, and the money and the work that machine makes goes towards a human being. Now, why would we want to live in a world where only 1% or 2% of the population is very rich, has access to health care and all this other stuff, and all the amenities of life? Why would we want to live in a society where 2% of the world can have anything they need because they have the biggest wealth, and 98% of the world has close to nothing, yet they're stuck doing all the work, fending for themselves? They have no housing in a world that can house hundreds of thousands times of our populations. And also we have the intelligence and the technologies to move to other planets or into space. Why wouldn't we want everyone to have basic amenities? Well, human behavior scientists, they might be able to answer some of those questions, but we need real practical advice and solutions to get shit done, because poverty is increasing rapidly, and there shouldn't be so many people that are out on the streets. This is why us human people, the very intelligent, very rich people, should know that we should learn how to be. You gotta be less greedy and start thinking like a species, and start seeing that, you know what, your life can be threatened by other creatures. Two of those fucking creatures. There's 3 creatures. There's the top 3 creatures, in my opinion, that can take over human beings if they become self-aware, or if they become knowing, or if they just develop understanding over time or whatever. Top 3 species that I feel can take over humans easily. Number one, probably number one on the spot. Well, I'll start with number three. Number three would be rats. Rats can kill humans, and they're very well organized, and they can communicate with each other, and they travel in packs, and they're very group oriented, and rats can take over humans if they wanted to, and we would not suspect it. Number two species that could take over humans very easily, very easily, can kill humans if they knew a little bit more about humans, our vital organs, and how to get to them and shut us down immediately, are ants. If ants could figure a way to get to our brain and at least bite it or shut off a nerve there, they could take out human beings very easily. And and ants also, they're very group oriented. Human beings are not so group oriented. Yeah, we do shit in groups, like we work in a factory with like 200 or 300 people or employees, but all those people are divided. We're not working together. We are assigned things. We're strategically placed, and we're also trained not to talk to each other and not to associate with each other. So the number one species that I feel has the most potential and the most intelligence to take over humanity, and they can do it, they can kill us and eat us very easily, are roaches. Roaches are our number one threat. Now, a lot of people say, well, they never even thought of that, but those are only three species that could take over us. There's also spiders that can overthrow humans and can kill us. Snakes can overthrow us. Like possums and what are those other things? Raccoons. Those types of rodents, they can take over humanity. We're constantly in a fight with other creatures that are hungry, and basically hunger is the thing that catapults people to the number one position of whatever. If we go up against a species that is more hungry and that sees us as a food source, you bet your ass that they're gonna fucking take over humanity, and they're gonna take us out. The number one thing is food source. Now, some people say, oh, if we create AI technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, and there is a singularity, some people feel like artificial intelligence will take over humanity. But I kind of disagree on that one, because electronics do not need humans as a food source. So their main goal is to get energy. So they might attack and consume things that have lots of energy, like the sun. The sun is in danger from artificial intelligence if the artificial intelligence could get to that, because that is an abundance energy source. But it would take years and probably decades and I don't know how many millennia for AI to create the technologies to steal the energy of the sun. And in a consequence of that, yeah, us humans and frickin' and all species on the earth are gonna frickin' die, because the artificial intelligence took over. They didn't necessarily attack human beings. They just went straight for the sun, took the damn sun, and as a result, we frickin' die for that shit. Now, if they have a conscience, which I doubt they would have a conscience or develop a conscience, then we might stay there. Or if it just artificial intelligence never becomes self-aware, then they're not really a threat for humanity. But our immediate threats are those top three insects that I've been talking about: roaches, ants, and rats. Now, they eat our garbage. All three of those rodents eat our garbage. Now, what happens when we run out of garbage? They're still hungry. Now, if there's no garbage in the desert, ants and cockroaches and roaches, and I'm not sure about rats, but they go to the next food source, which is snakes or other insects. So they start eating each other because there's no garbage. Right here in domesticated areas where there's a lot of humans and garbage, they have plenty of food to eat, but some days they do not have food. So what do? They try to go for new food sources. And it's already happened where I got bitten by ants and I got bitten by cockroaches. I've not yet gotten bitten by a rat, but that would be horrible. That would be a horrible feeling to get bitten by a rat. But I know, probably because of so many people in this world, there's people in this world that have been bitten by a rat or a rodent. It's possible because rats and rodents carry rabies, and we have medical things to prepare people from getting rabies, right? So it's been